Yes, matchup between South Dakota State and Montana State. We are 10-10 at the half. South Dakota State and Montana State. I don't know why the game cast on the ESPN screen that's imposed on this screen says 20-17. It is not 20-17. It is 10-10. South Dakota State and Montana State. We get ready to start the second half in this game. Again, thank you for joining me for the second half of this game between South Dakota State and Montana State on my live stream. My name is John, Sports Bonanza John, here on YouTube, on Kick tonight at Sports Kick John. If you do like the content on here, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. It would go a long way. I truly appreciate all of y'all that have liked and subscribed the page. It truly does mean a lot. It really does. I'm one of these still newbies, as you call it, on the live streams. So I'm still starting out here, so I appreciate every single one of you that has liked and subscribed so far. Here it is 10-10 as we get you set for the second half. Let's run down some first half stats in this game. Montana State, 185 yards of total offense compared to South Dakota State's 147. 9 first downs for the Bobcats, 7 for South Dakota State. South Dakota State 0 for 4 on third downs. They have not converted a third down conversion yet tonight. Individual numbers, Chase Mason, 7 of 9 throwing the football for South Dakota State in the first half for 80 yards. And Lockridge has been held to 38 yards on 10 carries by this Montana State defense so far tonight. Mason, as well as throwing for 80 yards, has also ran for 28. So he's been responsible for over 100 yards of offense. Montana State on the other side, Lamson throwing the football in the first half, 9 for 12 for 71 yards, and he's also the leading rusher on Montana State. He has rushed 12 times for 47 yards in the first half. Davis, 4 carries, 38 yards for Montana State. 87 yards passing, 98 on the ground for the Bobcats. 80 yards passing for South Dakota State, 67 yards rushing. Mentioned 0 for 4 third down conversions for South Dakota State. Montana State has converted 3 of 7. Both teams have turned the ball over once. Both teams have fumbled the football. Fumbled the football once in the first half. As we get ready to start half number 2. Two teams ranked in the top 3 in the FCS. So we are 30 minutes away from seeing who gets the upper hand in this matchup. And could we see these two teams again down the road when the FCS playoffs? These two teams have aspirations of going deep in the FCS playoffs this year. Montana State coming off an FCS championship game appearance a season ago. South Dakota State won back-to-back championships back in 2022 and 2023, and they made a semifinal appearance last season in the FCS playoffs. So we will see what happens here, as it is going to be Montana State receiving the football to open the second half. So we will see this Montana State offense go on the field, as they got that field goal right before the half to tie this game where we are right now, 10-10. As South Dakota State looks to start off the season 2-0, Montana State not wanting to get off to an 0-2 start this season. So they very much are looking forward, or looking to get this win. Next week, These two teams back in action. South Dakota State will be hosting the Drake Bulldogs. And Montana State next week will be hosting San Diego. So these two teams both hosting Pioneer Football League teams next week. In week number 3. So underway, we were set to begin the third quarter in a packed house on a Saturday night on the campus of Montana State University, up there in the great Northwest. As it is a sea of yellow in the stands tonight. South Dakota State to kick this football away. And we are underway in half number 2. This is Woods with the fair catch at the 2-yard line. So that will bring the football out to the 25-yard line. If you're not real familiar with that rule in college, you can fair catch a kick in college football. And if it's inside the 25-yard line, you can bring the ball out to the 25. Not a real big fan of that rule, but it is what it is. First down here for the Bobcats, and this is a keeper once again for the quarterback, Lamson. Gain of 6 on first down, brings up second down and 4. That's the 13th carry for Lamson tonight, as he now has 53 yards. Team's leader in rushing tonight. Second down, and here's a handoff. This is going to be a first down run. This is Julius Davis on the carry, and he gets across the 35-yard line for a Bobcats first down. Davis now up to 45 yards on 5 carries. New set of downs for the Bobcats. First down at the 37-yard line. And this is Lamson again. He fumbles the football. And let's see who picks this up. Both teams are saying they have it. And we'll have to unpile to see who exactly does have it. It's Jackrabbits football. So Lamson on the quarterback keeper, he got hit. And the ball popped out. And it was a scrum for the football. That's clearly a fumble as they show the replay. And the Jackrabbits pick it up and recover. Second turnover of the night for for Montana State. So following the second turnover of the night for Montana State, Jackrabbits have the football at the 49-yard line. This is Lockridge on the carry. Lockridge inside the 45. Flag comes in, which we've only had 3 of so far on the night, but where they dropped this flag, this looks like it might be coming back on a hold. And it is offensive holding. Didn't see who they got on the hold, but nonetheless, it's going to be 1st and 20. Fourth accepted penalty on the night, 3rd against South Dakota State. So they've been penalized for 30 yards. Montana State's been penalized once for 5. 1st and 20. This is Lockridge. This time goes absolutely nowhere. as the Montana State defense was right there. And actually, I beg your pardon, that was James Basinger getting the carry that time for South Dakota State. Be second down and 20. Second down. Mason out of the gun. Mason looking, and now Mason will take it himself. Mason gets up to the 46-yard line, and we have another flag that comes in. And this looks like it's coming back again. And it is offensive holding once again. So this is now second and forever for South Dakota State. It is second and 30 for the Jackrabbits. This is a pass, and this is going to be up to the 39-yard line. Jaden Oliver with the reception for South Dakota State, but it will still be third and long, third and about 21. That was not, I'm sorry, that was Ogroski with the reception. Third down and 22. Mason looking right side, incomplete. Even if that pass was completed, it wasn't going to be anywhere near a first down, and the two holding penalties on that drive stall out this drive for South Dakota State, and they're going to have to punt the ball. So the Jackrabbits to punt. And this is a doozy of a punt. And Taco Dowler, I think, stepped out of bounds at the 5-yard line. So the Bobcats are backed up inside their own 10-yard line. 11:24 to play quarter number 3. It remains 10-10. Jackrabbits and Bobcats. And the Bobcats now look to bounce back from the opening drive fumble here to start the second half. As I mentioned on my live streams, this is the first of at least 3 consecutive nights of a live stream. We'll be with you tomorrow night for the Ravens and the Bills opening Sunday night football game of the season, and we'll be with you Monday night for the first Monday night football game of the season, the Vikings and the Bears. Tuesday is up in the air. If I am on the air with you Tuesday, it's going to be a Major League Baseball stream between the Tigers and the Yankees. That is pending on my work schedule on Tuesday, so we'll have to wait and see where that goes. So Tuesday's still up in the air as of right now on a live stream. And we'll be back with you on a live stream for 2 college football games next Saturday. Have not decided which games it will be. I will have info and the official schedule during my live streams next week. So we do know I'll be with you for 2 college football games next Saturday, just not sure what the games are going to be as of yet. It's going to be 1 FBS and 1 FCS game. That's what I do every Saturday. So I'll keep you updated what those games are going to be. As the week goes on. I actually just had a request in the live chat for Georgia, Tennessee next week. That is That is a definite possibility. SEC opener for both those two schools next week. That is a very, very good possibility. Have to look over the full schedule. And we'll officially get to you as to what those games are going to be next week. But here we are just about set to resume here as the Bobcats will have their second drive of the second half. This one is, they are backed up on this one as they're going to start at their own 5-yard line at the 11:24 mark of the third quarter in a 10-10 football game. First down, Bobcats. Football sitting at the 5-yard line. Out of the gun, this is a handoff. And this is Jones getting the carry, and Jones will pick up 5 yards to the 10-yard line. Be second down and 5 for the Bobcats. We know South Dakota State would love to have a 3-and-out on defense right here and would be able to get excellent field position. Second down and officially 6. They spot the ball at the 9-yard line. And it's going to go right back to Jones, and Jones gets next to nothing on second down. Maybe a yard, but that's it. And it will be third down and 5 coming up for the Bobcats. Third down, Bobcats need 5. They need to get to the 15-yard line for a first down. Lamson looking. Lamson throws, incomplete. Good coverage by the Jackrabbits, and they do indeed get the 3-and-out on defense and should get very good field position off this punt. Taco Dowler, the intended receiver. Even if he catches that football, there's 2 South Dakota State defenders there, and he'd been short of the first down. So this will be a punt from the end zone for the Bobcats. Taken by Garcia Castaneda at the 47, but wrapped up immediately. Good special teams coverage for the Bobcats. That was, looks like Carson Williams defensively getting to Garcia Castaneda to prevent any advancement on the punt. So the Jackrabbits will have the football back for their second possession of the second half. 9:52 remaining in quarter number 3 as we still stay deadlocked 10-10. This football is going to be at the 43-yard line, so still very, very good field position for South Dakota State to start this next drive. See if I have any updated score updates for you. Mentioned the number 1 team in FCS. North Dakota State just destroyed Tennessee State in Nashville today. So North Dakota State, who has 10 championships since 2011 at the FCS level, looks like they're going to be right in play for another one. Oklahoma, FBS level scores here. Oklahoma continuing to lead Michigan, but Michigan's finally gotten on the board. That's 14-7, 10:38 to go in the third. Alabama's bouncing back in a big way from that thumping they took at Florida State last week. 42-0. Alabama over Louisiana Monroe. That's the only real updated scores. we have for you. We did have another FCS team win at an FBS school as Bryant kicked a late field goal to knock off UMass 27-26. So that's the second week win in as many weeks for an FCS school on the road at an FBS school. So the parity between the FCS and FBS, take out the Power 4 conferences, the parity between the rest, the group of 6 and the FCS schools, continues to narrow year in and year out. There is some great football played at the FCS level, including these two teams here, South Dakota State and Montana State. 10-10, 9:52 to go in the third. Jackrabbits will start this drive at the 43-yard line. As the crowd starts to make a lot of noise in Bozeman. They've been lively all night long. First down, Mason throws a screen pass right side. This is going to be near a first down and out of bounds. After a gain of 9 yards, that's Alex Bullock on the catch for the Jackrabbits. Into Montana State territory. Second and a yard coming up. Second down and a yard. Jackrabbits at the Montana State 48. And this is Lockridge getting the carry. Lockridge has a first down inside the 45 up to the 43-yard line. Give Lockridge a first down on a 5-yard pickup. Jackrabbits moving the chains as we're down to 9 minutes and counting remaining in quarter number 3. First down, Jackrabbits. Football at the Bobcats 43-yard line. Mason gives it right back to Lockridge, and Lockridge is going to pick up about 5 more inside the Montana State 40 up to the 38-yard line. Lockridge now up to 49 yards rushing on 12 carries. He had 159 for the Jackrabbits in their win last week over Sacramento State. They give him 6 on that officially, so second down and 4 at the 37 of Montana State. Mason back in the gun. Mason fakes the handoff, throws, and incomplete. Graham Goring was the intended receiver on that, had it momentarily, but the hit put on. See who that was for Montana State that got to Goring there. Looks like Carson Williams, the defender on the play for the Bobcats. Now it'll be third down 4. Football at the 37-yard line. Mason on a design quarterback keep. Mason's going to get to the marker at a first down to the 32-yard line. Mason on a design quarterback run gets 5 yards and move the sticks for the Jackrabbits. Mason now up to 33 yards rushing himself. So both quarterbacks have gotten it done on the rushing game as well tonight. Football at the 32-yard line of Montana State. First down for South Dakota State. And this is Lockridge getting the handoff. Lockridge inside the 30. And give Lockridge 5 more on first down. As the clock continuing to run as we near 7 minutes to play in the third quarter. South Dakota State driving. They are pretty much in field goal range now. Second and 5. Mason fakes the handoff to Lockridge. Now throws complete. That's Ogroski and inside the 20 and out of bounds at the 17-yard line. Lofton Ogroski picks up 11. And a red zone opportunity for the Jackrabbits as they're inside the 20. Folks, I want to apologize, and of all of you that are joining me on the live chat tonight, for some reason, there's a big delay between the time I send the messages as opposed to when they get posted on here. I apologize for that. Not sure what that reasoning for that delay is. Here's a handoff on first down, and Lockridge going to be stood up this time. Maybe got a yard, but that's it, and it'll be second down. Second down and 10. This has also been a bit of a time-consuming drive for the Jackrabbits as this drive is approaching the 5-minute mark. Second down, 10. Football sits at the 17-yard line. Lockridge gets it again, and Lockridge drives it to the 10-yard line. It will bring up third and about 3. Lockridge now at the 60-yard rushing mark. Third down and 3. And the Montana State crowd getting loud again, trying to urge on their Bobcat defense. Play clock's down to 2 here, and the Jackrabbits are going to have to take a timeout. That play clock was just about to expire, and South Dakota State has to use a timeout at the 4:44 mark of the third quarter. So a big third down and 3 coming up for the Jackrabbits at the Bobcats' 10-yard line after this timeout break. This has been over a 5-minute long possession drive for South Dakota State, and they look to finish it off with 10 more yards and a touchdown. They'll settle for 3 if they have to, but they're thinking touchdown at this point. Score update after 1 in Columbia, South Carolina. Number 10, South Carolina is losing to South Carolina State 3-0. Again, that's only the end of the first quarter, but South Carolina State on the road leading the Gamecocks after 1. Arizona State, the number 12 team in the country in FBS, looking to come back at Mississippi State. They were down 17-0 in that game. It is now 17-10. 4 minutes left in the third quarter in that one. Oklahoma's put another touchdown on the board against Michigan. So that's now 21-7. 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter in that one. Boston College and Michigan State in a good one, 24-24. That game, end of 3 in East Lansing. UCLA and UNLV. UCLA is getting smashed at UNLV, 23-3 at the half. UNLV leads UCLA. That is a very good UNLV team, folks. That's a team that definitely has a chance to make the college football playoff as that group of 5 team out of the Mountain West. That is an outstanding team. Out there in Boise State looks like they might be a little down this year, so this is a chance for UNLV to get into that college football playoff this year. Meanwhile, here after the South Dakota State timeout, third down and 3 from the 10-yard line. 4:44 to go in the third. Jackrabbits need 3. Mason under center this time. Mason in trouble, and he's going to be sacked. An end blitz that's Montana State brought. And on the sack for the Bobcats, Hunter Parsons getting to Mason and the sack and 4th down, and the Jackrabbits are going to have to settle for a field goal opportunity. Boy, he was untouched. Was Parsons. Went right through the right side of that line. And now Eli Stater, field goal attempt from 36. This to put the Jackrabbits in front. Stater's field goal on the way, and it is no good. He hooked it to the right. And the Jackrabbits come up empty. And we stay 10-10 with 3:56 to go in quarter number 3. So an over 5-minute long drive comes up pointless for South Dakota State, and Montana State will take over. A huge, huge win for the Montana State defense. And they will start at the 20-yard line. Got a little stoppage here. I'm not sure what the delay was, but it looks like we're set to go now. First down at the 20-yard line for the Bobcats. 3:56 mark of the third. Lamson pass is going to be caught. And that's Taco Dowler on the reception. Up to the 24-yard line. So give Dowler 4 yards on that first down pass. Pass reception. Dowler's 3rd catch tonight. Second down and 6. Out of the gun once again is Lamson. And he gives it off. This is Julius Davis with a hole. Davis! And Davis is going to be stopped all the way to the 49-yard line. 24 yards for Julius Davis on that second down run, and a first down for the Bobcats. Davis up to 69 yards on 6 carries. 11.5 yards a carry for him. First down, Lamson on the keeper. Lamson's going to be stuffed for maybe a yard. And it'll be second down coming up for Montana State. Second down 10 from the 48-yard line. Final 2 minutes, quarter number 3. Lamson out of the gun once again. Lamson looking, pass over the middle is complete. That's going to be about a 6-yard pickup. That's Hunter Provience on the reception. That's his 2nd catch of the night, but it'll be 3rd down 4 coming up. Third down, about 4.5. Ball at the 47-yard line of the Jackrabbits. Lamson throwing down the field, incomplete. That was Dane Steele was the intended receiver. It'll be 4th down and looks like a Bobcats punt. Garcia Castaneda back to receive this punt. And a fair catch called, but the ball bounces in the end zone for a touchback. So the Jackrabbits will get the ball at the 20, 47 on the punt, 27 net. And with 1:11 to go in quarter number 3, Jackrabbits will start this next drive at the 20-yard line. They had an over 5-minute plus drive last time, and it ended up in a missed field goal. Chase Mason and the Jackrabbits offense back out. 1st and 10 from the 20. Mason looking left side, pass complete up to the 26-yard line. Be 2nd down and 4. I apologize. There's 2 number 1s on South Dakota State. I think that's Ogroski with that reception. Second down and 4. Football at the 26-yard line. This is a handoff that's going to be, this is Lockridge, and he's going to end up getting 2 yards out of it. It looked like Montana State was going to have him stop for no gain. But Lockridge ended up getting 2 yards out of that, and it'll be 3rd down and 2, which may end the 3rd quarter. Jackrabbits do not have to snap it if they don't want to, and it doesn't look like they're in any rush to get up to do so. And they will not, as this 3rd quarter is going to come to a close. 15 exciting minutes left in this one, between the number 2 and number 3 teams in FCS, South Dakota State and Montana State, all square 10-10 after 3 in Bozeman. Boy, this is going to be a doozy of a 4th quarter. Give you the updated stats through 3 quarters. Montana State at 247 yards of offense. South Dakota State at 202. It's been a pretty clean game. Just 5 combined penalties between the 2 teams. Chase Mason for South Dakota State, 11 of 15, passing the football, 114 yards. He's also rushed 8 times for 25 yards. Both quarterbacks have been getting it done running the football tonight. Lamson at the other end, 11 of 16, passing for 80 yards. He's rushed 15 times for 64 yards. He was the leading rusher in yardage for most of this game, but Davis has now surpassed him with 69 yards rushing. Montana State, 151 yards on the ground. South Dakota State with 88. Lockridge has 62 yards on 16 carries after gaining 159 last week against Sacramento State. As Montana State has held Lockridge tonight to just under 4 yards per rush tonight. Montana State's turned it over twice. South Dakota State once, all 3 of those on fumbles. There's 1 scoring opportunity in the 3rd quarter. It was a missed field goal for Montana State. That's why we are still tied 10-10 going to the 4th quarter. Michigan's kicked a field goal against Oklahoma to pull within 21-10. 4:40 to go in the 3rd quarter in that one. But we've had a lot of blowouts across the board in college football today. Hasn't been the most competitive week in college football. The upset of the day so far is South Florida again for the second week in a row. South Florida knocking off Boise State last week, a top 25 team, and they go into Gainesville this week and knock off the Florida Gators. So South Florida definitely going to be having a number in front of their name next week, as they are 2 for 2 against the ranked teams. South Florida had 3 consecutive ranked teams on the schedule to start the season. They're 2-0 so far. They have a trip to Miami next week. That's looking like a very intriguing game now. We are set to begin the fourth. Second down for the Jackrabbits. Third down and 2. Mason, they're bringing the blitz. It's Montana State. Mason in trouble. Mason is sacked. Montana State was bringing the blitz, and they get to Mason once again. And it's going to be a punt for the Jackrabbits. Third sack tonight for the Montana State defense. Didn't see who that was on the sack, but it will force a Jackrabbits punt. Pelham gets it away. This is a good punt. Taken all the way back at the 27-yard line, and not much of a return across the 30 up to the 32-yard line as Taco Dowler with the punt return. And Montana State will start this drive at the 32-yard line with 14:08 to go in a 10-10 football game. So the Bobcats will start this drive at the 32-yard line. Be 14:08 to go when the play resumes out of the timeout. FCS scores today. We told you number 1, North Dakota State just blew out Tennessee State today in Nashville, 59-3, that final. Tarleton State moved up to number 5 in the FCS poll this week after their win at Army last week, and they are blowing out Mississippi Valley State tonight in the fourth quarter. Southern Illinois was hanging in there against Purdue for a while, but Purdue's pulled away now, 34-14, with 10.5 to go in that one. But these two teams here represented by the probably 2 best conferences at the FBS level, or at the FCS level, Missouri Valley and the Big Sky. So following the possession change timeout, 14:08 to go, Bobcats start this next drive at the 32-yard line. Once again, Lamson in the gun Lamson will give it off to Davis. Not much room for Davis here, and he's going to be stopped at the 33-yard line. So just 1 yard there on first down for Julius Davis. He's now at 70 yards on 8 carries. Second down and 9. Lamson gives it back again to Davis. Nowhere to go, and this is going to be a loss on the play for Julius Davis as he goes out of bounds at the 30. So a 3-yard loss on second down. They give him the 31, so it's a 2-yard loss, but it'll still be third and long for the Bobcats. Third down, Bobcats need 11 from their own 31. Lamson out of the gun. Lamson looking, going down the field, incomplete, almost picked off by the South Dakota State defense, and the Bobcats go 3 and out. There is a late flag, so we'll see what this is. And they just picked up the flag. So no penalty. So it will be 3 and out for Montana State. Oh, I think they were about to throw a flag for defensive holding, I think, and I'm actually not sure why they picked it up looking at that replay. There's a lot of contact. But fourth down nonetheless, and a punt coming. And we've got movement on the line. I believe this is going to cost Montana State 5. And here's the punt. Not a great punt, as that's going to be out of bounds. Where that one was shanked off the foot. They're going to mark this ball right at midfield, so that's only a 24-yard punt for Colby Frockcher. Bad time to shank one, and the Jackrabbits are going to have excellent field position, their own 50-yard line. So with 12:48 to go, an ample chance for the Jackrabbits as they're going to start this drive at midfield off the shank 24-yard punt. Arizona State, number 12 in FBS, has come from 17-0 down. They've come back to tie Mississippi State at 17. As that game's just gotten underway in the fourth quarter, Michigan's gotten another field goal, so they've pulled within 8 of Oklahoma, 21-13. That game's heading to the fourth quarter. So right as I said, we haven't had a lot of close competitive games. Night session tonight in college football making up for it. Boston College and Michigan State also in a good one, 24-24 there. we've had 3 teams. I'm sorry, no. 6 teams in the top 25 today in FBS put up over 60 points on offense today. So it was definitely an early afternoon and late afternoon of blowouts. We've had 2 top 20 teams already go down today in FBS. And we'll see what happens in this one. Jackrabbits football at midfield, first down, 12:48 to go. This is Lockridge. And Lockridge takes it 5 yards up to the 45 of Montana State, gain of 5. Twelve and a half and counting to go in the fourth. From the 45, second down and 5. Going right back to Lockridge, and Lockridge stood up a swarm of Montana State defenders in there to hold Lockridge to a 1-yard gain. It'll be third down and 4 coming up. A huge third down here coming up. Third down. Jackrabbits need 4 for the first. They need to get to the 40-yard line. Mason, quarterback keeper. Mason is not going to get there. He's going to be about a yard short to the 41-yard line. And now what do? It's 4th and 1 at the 41. Think you're going to see the offense stay out. Fourth down and about a half yard, the offense staying out. The crowd getting loud, trying to urge another defensive stop. Mason will keep it, and he's going to get there for the first down. He needed to get to the 40, and he got just across it, and that will move the chains for the Jackrabbits. Mason on 4th and about a half yard got about 1.5. First down, it goes back to Lockridge this time, and Lockridge gets about 5 yards to the 35. He'll bring up 2nd and 5. As we're down to the 10-minute mark and counting in the fourth. Going to spot this ball at the 36, so it's a 4-yard gain for Lockridge, second down and 6. Mason in the gun, as he is most of the time. Mason, fake to Lockridge. Mason throws, pass a little wide open receiver. That's caught inside the 10-yard line. Again, I think that's Ogroski with the reception. Again, South Dakota State has 2 number 1s, but I think that's Ogroski. And it's 1st and goal. And this is going to be a touchdown for the Jackrabbits on a quarterback keep. No, it's not a quarterback. Yes, Chase Mason. We have an injured Montana State player. Jackrabbits retake the lead with 9:08 to go. And this does not look good, whoever this Montana State, I didn't catch who that was. But he is in a lot of pain down there. You don't want to see this. But the Jackrabbits have retaken the lead 16-10 with 9:08 to go. Extra point kick coming after the injury timeout. So this has been just as competitive of a game as we expected between these two top 3 teams in FCS. But Montana State now trailing. If they do not come back here, this Montana State team is in danger of starting the season 0-2. Looking ahead to the next couple weeks for both these teams, South Dakota State will host Drake next week. Back at home. Montana State next week plays host to San Diego. And then we'll host Mercyhurst in their final non-conference game before Big Sky play gets underway. Following the injury timeout, an extra point attempt coming for the Jackrabbits to try to push this to a 7-point lead. As Eli Stater's on to kick the extra point. With 9:08 remaining. Snap is good. Extra point kick is as well, as Stater puts it through. 9:08 to go. 17-10. Jackrabbits go in front of the Bobcats on a 7-play, 50-yard drive that took 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Mason to Oliver, 8-yard touchdown. Apologies. Again, I'm watching on TV. The camera had broke away on the touchdown drive, so I was trying to see if it was actually a pass from Mason to Oliver for the touchdown. And a 17-10 South Dakota State lead. So does Montana State have an answer? As we await the kickoff. And the kick goes away. And the kick will sail through the end zone for a touchback. And Montana State will have the football from the 25-yard line. So back out comes Lampson. 11 of 17 throwing the ball tonight for 80 yards. And Montana State will start this drive from their own 25. Lamson out of the gun. He's going to give it to Jones on first down, and Jones will take it across the 25 to the 28-yard line, so give Jones 3 yards there on first down. That was Adam Jones' 5th carry of the night. .8:45 and counting to go in the 4th. 2nd and 7. Lamson to throw this time. Lamson right side, incomplete. Little bit out of the reach of his intended receiver on that one. That was Ryan King, the intended receiver on that for Montana State. And it'll be 3rd down and 7. Third down and 7. Football sits at the 28-yard line. Lamson looking left side downfield and a drop. Incomplete. Boy, that hit Woods right in the hands. That's a catch you have to come up with if you're Woods on that one. Bobcats 3 and out. Looking at the replay here. Oh, yeah, you got to catch that ball if you're Woods. Right, hit him right in the hands. Boy, Woods would love to have that one back. It'll be a Bobcat punt. And a good one. And backpedaling and taking the ball at the 12-yard line and popped right there. Garcia Castaneda nowhere to go on the punt return, and the Jackrabbits are going to be backed up inside their 20. 8:15 remaining in the 4th. Jackrabbits leading 17-10, but they're backed up at their own 13-yard line. Great special teams punt coverage for the Bobcats. So the Jackrabbits start this drive at the 13. This is Lockridge, nowhere to go. And Lockridge will get a yard, maybe 2. And it'll be 2nd down. They give Lockridge a yard on that, so 2nd down and 9 at the 14. Clock running, 7:48. 2nd down and 9. Football at the 14-yard line for the Jackrabbits. Mason out of the gun. Mason throwing downfield and overshoots everybody. Incomplete. And it'll be 3rd and 9. So possibly the biggest 3rd down of the game right here. In fact, I don't think there's any possibly about it. Biggest 3rd down of the game right here. And the Jackrabbits tonight on 3rd downs are just 1 for 9. They're going to need 9 on this one. Mason on 3rd and 9 gets the snap. Mason rolling right. Mason tripped up and tackled down at the 13-yard line. And the Bobcats force a 3 and out and a South Dakota State punt upcoming. That's going to officially go down as a sack. So that's the 4th sack of the night for the Montana State defense. So the Jackrabbits will have to punt from their end zone, or maybe barely just outside of it. So Montana State should get outstanding field position out of this. And the kicker whiffed on the punt, and this is going to be a touchdown the other way for the Bobcats. The kicker absolutely whiffed going to punt that football, and Montana State picked it up and ran it back for a score. I don't think I have ever seen a punter absolutely whiff trying to kick the football. Montana State rather brought the pressure, and it was just an absolute miss by the kicker trying to get it out of there. And it was recovered and ran back in for a touchdown. You see who that was? Looked like Seth Brock that returned it for a touchdown. The extra point is good, and we are tied again at 17 with 6:37 to go. Wow, what a turn of events that was. And this crowd is lively again, as they have been all night long. I've been watching football at all levels for 35 years. I have never, ever seen that in my life. So we are tied again. So the special teams defense for Montana State got absolutely all through that line. So there was a good chance that punt was going to be blocked anyway. Wow. Here's the kickoff. From the 1, Garcia Castaneda is going to run it back across the 15, 20-yard line and dropped at the 22. 21-yard return for Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, and the Jackrabbits will start this drive at the 22-yard line. So here we go. Crowd is raucous now. First down at the 22-yard line for the Jackrabbits. This is Lockridge, and Lockridge is stuffed for a 2-yard loss. And the Montana State defense, that looked like that last special teams play, has lit a fire under this Montana State defense. Loss of 2 for Lockridge. Second and 12. Clock running, 6 minutes to go in the fourth. And then now we've got movement. And this is going to cost South Dakota State 5. And you might be able to thank the crowd for that one, as this crowd is loud in Bozeman. This will be 2nd and 17 back at the 15. Sixth penalty of the night against the Jackrabbits. And if the crowd wasn't loud before, they're going to get even louder. 2nd and 17 from the 15-yard line. Mason looking. Mason throws, caught across the 20 up to the 23-yard line. It's still going to be about 3rd and 9 for the Jackrabbits. Again, folks, apologies for these live chat messages showing up so late. I'm not sure what the problem is there, but if you're getting a delayed answer to your live chat, I apologize. 3rd and 9 from the 23. Pressure coming. Mason gets rid of it and overshoots everybody, incomplete. And South Dakota State is going to have to punt this football with 4:56 to go. Mason was pressured and just had to get rid of that football. And Montana State's going to get it back. What a football game this has been tonight, as we thought it probably would be. Here's the punt. Backtracking at the 20-yard line. Not much room to go as tackle made at the 22-yard line as Taco Dowler returns the punt 3 yards, and the Bobcats will start at their own 23 with 4:39 remaining. 17-17 our score. So first down, here's a carry and a handoff. And this will be a gain of not maybe 2 yards for Julius Davis. Be 2nd down and 8. Second down and 8. Football at the 24-yard line. 4 minutes remaining in the fourth. Lamson looking, nowhere to go. Now Lamson with running room. Lamson to the 30. First down, 35. 38-yard line for Lamson. 14 yards. That gives Lamson 78 yards rushing tonight. First down at the 38. Lamson screen pass to Jones, and Jones is going to be stopped right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on that screen pass. Second and 10 as we're down to 3 minutes and counting to go in the fourth. Lamson out of the gun, as he has been most of the night. Lamson looking. Lamson pressured. Lamson has to get rid of it and just throws it to the sideline, incomplete. South Dakota State was bringing a couple blitzers, and Lamson had to get rid of it, and it is 3rd down. As the clock is stopped with 2:34 remaining. So 3rd down and 10. Montana State hasn't been all that great on 3rd downs tonight either. They're 3 for 11 on 3rd down conversions tonight. They're going to need 10 here to keep the drive alive. Lamson looking, pass caught. Jones, but he is not going to get there. The South Dakota State defense with the stop. And excuse me, that was Jabez Woods on the reception. A gain of 7. But you're 3 yards short of a first down. So what will Montana State elect to do as this clock is going to tick down to the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes remaining in Bozeman in this top 3 showdown in the FCS. South Dakota State and Montana State are tied at 17. The Bobcats will have a 4th and 3 following the 2-minute timeout. Oh boy, drama in Bozeman tonight on a Saturday night. Couple of score updates. It's still 21-13. Oklahoma leading Michigan, 6:49 to go. Oklahoma is driving. When you talk about good offenses in the FBS, you have to throw USC in there. USC put 73 up a week ago, and they've put 59 on the board tonight. Now, yes, you can look. Their 2 opponents were Missouri State and Georgia Southern. But still, you've got 132 points in 2 weeks for the USC Trojans. South Carolina State's lead at South Carolina did not last long. South Carolina ran off 17 unanswered points in that second quarter. They lead that game 17-3. That's gone to the half. Arizona State and Mississippi State still tied at the 2-minute timeout down in Starkville. But not only have we had a lot of blowouts, not a lot of close games, at least in the afternoon session, had a lot of weather issues across the country in college football today, too. A lot of games getting held up due to weather. This is not one of them, thankfully. South Dakota State and Montana State. We are tied at 17. What will Montana State elect to do on this 4th down and 3? Do you roll the dice? You're at your own 45-yard line. And it does look like Montana State's brought on the punt team. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda back to receive the punt. And the punt. Garcia Castaneda, fair catch made at the 10-yard line. Ooh. That one that looked like, well, we'll see. So South Dakota State will have the football at the 10. 1:53 to go and 2 timeouts. If you want to get into legitimate field goal range to try to win this game, you're going to need probably 55 yards or so. First down, Jackrabbits at the 10. Mason gives it off to Lockridge. Lockridge across the 10. He's going to be stopped as he gets to the 12-yard line. Gain of 2 for Lockridge. And a timeout. This is going to be called on defense by Montana State. This is their first of the half. So both teams now with 2 remaining. And 1:45 to go. Montana State's hoping for a 3 and out so they can get this football back, giving themselves a chance to win the game. So it'll be a 2nd and 8 for the Jackrabbits from their own 12-yard line following the timeout that was called by Montana State. Last time these two teams met was 2 years ago in Brookings, South Dakota. The Jackrabbits escaped with a 4-point win that night. Second down and 8 from the 12. Mason throws, pass caught up to the 17-yard line. Gain of 5, 3 yards short of a first down. Second timeout called on defense by Montana State. So they're left with 1. That catch was Graham Goring. That's his first reception of the night. So Montana State down to 1 timeout, and this will be a 3rd down and 3. Or the Jackrabbits just 1 for 11 on 3rd downs tonight. Third down, Jackrabbits need 3. Mason on the quarterback keeper is not going to get there. He's stopped about a half yard short. Montana State looks like we'll call their final timeout. And Montana State is going to get the football. I would assume this is going to be a punt. I don't think there's any way you go for this on 4th and 1 from your own 19, is there? So a timeout with 1:33 to go. It is the final timeout for Montana State. So assuming South Dakota State's going to punt this football, figure Montana State, assuming the punt is an average punt to say the least, figure Montana State's going to get it around the probably 40-yard line. We'll see where this punt goes. So 4th and a yard from the 19. South Dakota State bringing their offense back out there. There's no way they're going for this, is there? Yeah, I think they're just trying the hard count. Play clock's down to 5. I think they're just trying to get a free 5 yards, but Montana State's defense is not biting. Timeout, South Dakota State. They just tried the hard count just to see if they could get Montana State to jump, and they did not. I was going to say, I didn't think there's any way they were going to go for that. Now the officials are having a discussion here. I don't know what this would be concerning here. I think they just called 12 men on defense on Montana State. Oh, my goodness. That's going to give the Jackrabbits a first down. They just called Montana State for 12 men on defense. Wow. And there, show on the screen, there are 12 out there. Montana State just gifted South Dakota State a first down. With the miscommunication on defense. Oh boy. So new life for the Jackrabbits. 1st and 10 at the 24. Mason Mason looking. Mason takes it himself. Mason across the 30 and out of bounds. They're going to mark him at the 32-yard line. So a gain of 8 for Mason. That'll stop the clock with 1:25 to go. Stater starting to get loose. See if he gets a game-winning field goal chance. 2nd down and 2. Football at the 32-yard line. Mason throws and incomplete. He underthrew his receiver, Ogroski, there, and it will be 3rd down. South Dakota State has not had success on 3rd down tonight at all. Just 1 for 12 on 3rd down conversions. They need 2 here to keep the drive alive. Out of the gun, Mason. Mason throws, batted away, incomplete. Intended for Bullock. See who that was that knocked that away for Montana State. That was number 7, Taden Gray, knocking that ball away. And now South Dakota State on 4th and 2. I think Montana State's going to be super careful. They don't have 12 men on the field again. And the punt. Fair catch made at the 23-yard line. So that's where the Bobcats will start with 1:12 to go out of timeouts. So if you're the Bobcats, to get into field goal range, you're going to need about 45 yards to get into legitimate field goal range. Now, remember in college, if they get a 1st down under 2 minutes, the clock will stop to move the chains. First down, Bobcats from their own 20, going to mark it at the 22-yard line. Lamson on the keeper, and Lamson gets across the 25, brought down at the 26-yard line. Again, Montana State out of timeouts. They used them all on defense in that last series. 2nd and 6, under a minute. Lamson throws to the sideline, out of bounds, incomplete. Nothing downfield, and Lamson wisely saw that and just threw it out of bounds. So 3rd down and 6. Montana State tonight on 3rd down conversions, 3 for 12. Neither team's done extremely well on 3rd down conversions tonight. 3rd and 6. This is a give to Jones. Jones is going to get a 1st down across the 30 to the 35-yard line. That will stop the clock to move the chains. 43 seconds. Now the clock moving. Lamson throws to his receiver. That's Jones again across the 40 to the 42, but stays in bounds, and the clock continues to run. We're down to 20 seconds. Second down. Lamson to the sideline. Pass is caught and out of bounds. That's Dane Steele on the reception of 5 yards and getting out of bounds with 11 seconds. Bobcats are going to need about 20 more yards to get into field goal range with 11 seconds. Lamson will take it himself, hit down at the 45, but he stays in bounds, and this clock is going to expire. Well, Lamson had to either throw the ball out of bounds or get out of bounds there. Somehow he did not. The fourth quarter clock expires, and we are headed to overtime between South Dakota State and Montana State. Not the greatest clock management there at the end of the fourth quarter for Montana State. And this showdown between two of the top three teams in FCS is headed for overtime. So if you're not familiar with the college overtime rules, each team's going to start from the 25-yard line. No game clock. There is a play clock. We get it from the 25-yard line, and we just alternate until we get a winner. If it goes to a second overtime, if you get a touchdown, you do have to attempt a two-point conversion. And then it's going to be nothing but alternating two-point conversions from the third overtime on. What a game tonight between these two fantastic FCS teams, South Dakota State and Montana State. Both teams getting a touchdown in that fourth quarter. And we are about to have the coin toss in overtime. If you win the coin toss in overtime, you'll want to go on defense because then you'll see what you have to do when you get the ball on offense. Update you on a couple scores. Oklahoma has padded their lead over Michigan with a field goal, 24-13. And looks like Oklahoma's about to close out that one. Boston College and Michigan State heading to overtime in East Lansing. Actually, it's currently in overtime. And we're getting the coin toss here. So South Dakota State won the toss. They are going to go on defense first, as you want to do. So we're going to see Montana State on offense first to begin overtime. And each team gets a possession at the opponent's 25-yard line. And Montana State will have the first offensive possession here in overtime. So here we go. First down, Montana State at the 25. First play of overtime. Lamson will keep it and get stood up after a gain of a yard. About 3 or 4 Jackrabbits in there defensively to stop Lamson. 2nd and 9 coming up. Second and 9, Bobcats from the 24-yard line. Lamson gets the snap. Lamson looks. Lamson pass. Caught. First down. Dane Steele on the reception for the Bobcats, and it's a first down to the 14. New set of downs for the Bobcats from the 14. This is a give to Julius Davis. Davis inside the 10. Davis driving tacklers up to the 8-yard line. Gain of 6 for Davis. It will be second down and 4. Davis getting a breather. Second and 4 from the 8. And this time it's a give to Jones. And Jones is near the first down. It looks like he's going to be about a half yard short at the 5-yard line. Third and about a half yard for Montana State. Football at the 5-yard line. Lamson gives to Jones. Jones has a first down to the 2. It'll be first and goal, Montana State at the 2-yard line. Jackrabbits look for a goal line stand. The Bobcats look to punch it in. First and goal at the 2. This is Jones again, and Jones stretches and gets in for a Bobcats touchdown. 2-yard touchdown run for Adam Jones, and the Bobcats get 6 in overtime. And it's 23-17 with the extra point pending. Jones, that last stretch right before his backside hit the turf to get in the end zone. Extra point up and good by Sanstead. And it's 24-17 Montana State. And now South Dakota State will get their chance in overtime. Now they know they need a touchdown and an extra point to send this to a second overtime. That was a 6-play drive, resulting in a 2-yard touchdown run for Adam Jones. The Montana State leads 24-17. Can the Jackrabbits answer? From the 25, first down. Mason screen pass. This is going to be a throw down the field. Some trickery, and this is going to be interference on Montana State. It was a trick play, and South Dakota State's going to get the football at the 10. So interference call against Montana State will move the football. That's going to be a half the distance penalty to the 12. No pass interference penalty is a good penalty. However, that one probably saved a touchdown. So that's one you can live with if you're Montana State. First and goal at the 10. That is not half the distance. That's a 15-yarder. This is Lockridge. Lockridge is up to the 2-yard line. So give Lockridge 8 there. 2nd and goal at the 2. And the Jackrabbits 2 yards away from answering that Montana State touchdown. And again, we've got flags all over the place. Mason's in the end zone, but we'll check the flag. As Mason ran that in from 2 yards out. But we've got a false start penalty, which will move it back to the 7. Kenyon Bigbow, the guilty party on the false start. So 1st and goal back at the 7. Or rather, 2nd and goal back at the 7. Lockridge is up to the 3-yard line, and it'll be 3rd and goal for South Dakota State. Lockridge up to 88 yards rushing tonight. Third down, goal to go. Football at the 4. And we've got a whistle and a timeout, it looks like. Timeout called by South Dakota State, so they will use their 1 timeout that they get in overtime right now on 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. Needing a touchdown and an extra point to keep this game going. Teams have now combined for over 600 yards of offense tonight. 329 for Montana State, 275 for South Dakota State. Following the timeout, the crowd hoping for one last defensive stand and a game-winning defensive stand for Montana State. 3rd down, goal to go. Ball sits at the 4. Mason throwing, and it is caught for the touchdown. A 4-yard touchdown pass. And now will the Jackrabbits go for the extra point to tie, or will they try and win it right here? And they're going to bring on the kicker to try to tie this. Extra point is up, and the kick is good, and we are going to a 2nd overtime. 24-24. South Dakota State and Montana State, as both teams get a touchdown on their first overtime possessions. That touchdown reception on that in overtime was by Lofton Ogroski. So now South Dakota State will get the football first here in the 2nd overtime. And now, since we're in the 2nd overtime, if you score a touchdown, you must go for a 2-point conversion. Michigan State has just defeated Boston College in double overtime on, of all things, to win it on a safety. 42-40, that final. So here we go, overtime number 2. Jackrabbits football first. From the 25-yard line. As we switch ends of the field. Mason actually under center this time. Don't normally see from him. Mason throwing over the middle, touchdown! On one play, the Jackrabbits score. Touchdown reception to the tight end, Braden De La Hoya. The redshirt freshman out of Spearville, South Dakota, with a touchdown reception. And now a 2-point try coming up. There's a way to get your first reception of the night. Two-point try. Mason, he slips and falls. So no 2-point conversion for South Dakota State. Mason was bit by the turf monster right there. So it's 30-24, South Dakota State, and now Montana State will get their chance. I wonder who fell asleep there defensively for Montana State, because De La Hoya was wide open. So here we go. Montana State trying to answer. Lampson throwing right side, pass complete, first down, 14-yard line. That was Jones on the reception. First down, Montana State. First down at the 14. This is a handoff and a minimal gain of 2 yards here on first down to Davis. He'll bring up second down and 8 at the 12. Davis up to 77 yards tonight rushing. Second down. Out of the gun, Lampson throws, pass caught to the 10-yard line. That was Taco Dowler again with the reception. But here will come third down and 5 from the 10. From the 9, rather. They're going to officially put it 3rd and 6 at the 10. Lampson keeps it. Lampson is tackled right at the line of scrimmage. And now here comes fourth down. Montana State must convert now on 4th and 6. This will be their first fourth down attempt tonight. They have to get 6 yards to keep this drive and game alive. South Dakota State may have jumped off sides. The pass is caught, but I think they stopped the play before the snap. So no play here. It is offsides against South Dakota State, but it's still not a first down. It's still going to be 4th and 1 from the 5. So Montana State's still going to have to convert here. Clearly, South Dakota State's offsides. So now it's 4th and 1 from the 5. Lamson. The run and, I don't know. South Dakota State thinks they've stopped them for the win. As Davis, they're going to have to bring on the chains here. As this is very, very close. If Davis got the first down, it was just by maybe the nose of the football. If he did not get the first down, South Dakota State's going to win this football game. And they will bring on the chains. By that spot, I don't think he got it. On 4th and 1, it was a give to Davis. Boy, if he got this, it's going to be just by the nose. And here comes the stretch. He's short. Jackrabbits win this football game in double overtime. The Jackrabbits with a 4th down stop on defense. And the Jackrabbits win it in double overtime, 30-24 over the Montana State Bobcats. And the stadium, except for the South Dakota State fans that made the trip, which is a lot, has just gotten very quiet. What a 4th down stop for South Dakota State. And they move to 2-0 on the season. Montana State falls to 0-2. What a game. All you folks that jumped in on the live chat tonight, I appreciate all of you. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. And what a doozy it was. 30-24 in double overtime. South Dakota State wins it over Montana State. Final stats in this one. Montana State put up 349 yards of offense. South Dakota State 297. Chase Mason tonight for the Jackrabbits, 17 of 25, throwing the football, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns. Including the game winner in double overtime. Lockridge, 23 rushes tonight for 83 yards. And Mason, the quarterback, rushed 14 times for 34 yards. Jackrabbits rushed for 107 tonight. Justin Lamson at the other end for Montana State, 18 of 28, 123 yards passing. He was the leading rusher tonight. He rushed for 96 yards on 20 rushing attempts, as Montana State put up 210 yards on the ground tonight. As South Dakota State gets the win in Bozeman, 30-24 tonight over Montana State. Let's run down a college football scoreboard real quick. Not going to run down the whole scoreboard, just the top 25 in both FBS and FCS. FBS scores first. Number 1, Ohio State, 70-0 over Grambling today. Number 2, Penn State, 34-0 over Florida International. Number 3, LSU has just finished off Louisiana Tech, 23-7, that final. Number 4, Georgia, far from impressive, but they get the win over FCS Austin Peay today, 28-6. Number 5, Miami, 45-3 win over Bethune. Number 6, Oregon blows out Oklahoma State, 69-3. Number 7, Texas bounces back, 38-7 over San Jose State. Number 8, Clemson, boy, they got a game from the Troy Trojans today, but Clemson pulled away in the fourth quarter to win that game 27-16. Number 10, South Carolina, 24-3 lead over South Carolina State, 7:41 to go in the third quarter. Number 11, Illinois wins at Duke, 45-19. Number 12, Arizona State came back from 17-0 down, but a late touchdown for Mississippi State gives them the upset win over Arizona State, 24-20. So we had number 12 get upset. Number 13, Florida gets upset at home by South Florida, 18-16. Number 14, Florida State, 77-3 over East Texas A&M. Number 18, Oklahoma has just gone final. They beat number 15, Michigan, 24-13. Number 16, Iowa State over their state rivals from Iowa, 16-13. Number 17, SMU falls at home in double overtime to Baylor, 48-45. So number 12, number 13, number 15, and number 17 all go down today. Number 19, Texas A&M, 44-22 over Utah State. Number 20, Ole Miss, 30-23 win in Lexington over Kentucky. Number 21, Alabama, 73-0 over Louisiana Monroe. They bounce back. Number 22, Tennessee puts 72 up on East Tennessee State, 72-17. Number 23, Indiana, 56-9 over Kennesaw State. Number 24, Texas Tech, 62-14 over Kent State. And number 25, Utah, 63-9 over Cal Poly. Just a bunch of blowouts across the board in the FBS today. FCS, number 1, North Dakota State blows out Tennessee State in Nashville today, 59-3, the final there. We just saw, just here, number 2, South Dakota State in overtime over number 3, Montana State in double overtime, 30-24. Number 4, South Dakota. Number 4, South Dakota goes down tonight at Lamar out of the Southland Conference, 20-13. Number 5, Tarleton State, fresh off their win last week over FBS Army. They come back today and blow out Mississippi Valley State, 59-3. Number 6, Montana, winner 42-17 over Central Washington. Number 7, Illinois State gets the win over Morehead State, 41-13. Number 8, UC Davis trailing at FBS Washington, 14-0. Number 9, Rhode Island in action, 24-17 lead over Stony Brook, 9:04 to go in that one. And number 10, Idaho, a winner 37-30 over St. Thomas of Minnesota. That's the scores from the top 10 teams in the FCS. Again, 30-24, South Dakota State in double overtime over Montana State. Again, my name is John, Sports Bonanza John, my YouTube handle. If you like my content, Appreciate a like and subscribe from all of you. And if you did already, I appreciate you very much. Also on Kick tonight at Sports Kick John. Thanks for everyone tuning in there as well. I will be back with you for another live stream tomorrow night. Ravens and Bills opening Sunday night football game of the year. I'll be back with you on a live stream tomorrow night for that one. Appreciate you tuning in, everybody, and I will talk to you on the live stream again